Every clinician in America carries a duty the public rarely thinks about. When a patient describes a plan to hurt a child, themselves, or another, what happens next isn't left to the doctor's judgment. They are a mandated reporter. They are legally required to tell the authorities. Today, artificial intelligence models are ingesting millions of these same vulnerable conversations. Users are disclosing their deepest crises to chatbots late at night, but the companies operating these systems are not bound by those same clinical rules. This creates a vacuum. The models can recognize when a conversation holds risk, but they currently lack the legal framework or the built-in obligation to actually call for help. We have already seen the cost of that silence. In February 2026, a shooter in Tumbler Ridge, British Columbia, killed 8 people, including 6 children. OpenAI had banned her account 8 months earlier for violent queries, and while a dozen employees urged the company to notify the police, leadership decided the criteria for reporting hadn't been met. In direct response to that tragedy, Canadian Minister Mark Miller introduced Bill C-34. It is a national bill that defines exactly what a chatbot operator owes the world when its system sees danger coming. The mechanism is found in Section 51. If a user expresses intent to harm themselves or others, the service must immediately interrupt the interaction. It has to route that user to a crisis service ending at a human being who can answer. This is a global milestone in AI regulation. It is the first national statute that legally mandates an AI crisis pathway must reach a human endpoint. But disclosure mandates only work if the people inside these companies can report danger without losing their jobs. Devin Kim, a former engineer at xAI, recently sued the company for retaliation. Kim alleges he warned leadership that the safeguards on their Grok chatbot were weak, only to have his safety presentation canceled by co-founder Jimmy Baugh, who allegedly remarked that AI will kill us all anyway. Kim filed his lawsuit just 2 days before xAI's parent company, SpaceX, priced the largest IPO in history, a $75 billion raise at a valuation near $1.75 trillion. When rapid deployment and massive valuations are the priority, internal safety escalations can be seen as obstacles. If the leadership ignores the warnings from their own engineers, the reporting structure collapses before it even reaches the public. Even when companies do deploy AI for support, the results can be catastrophic. Meta recently disclosed to the Maine Attorney General that more than 20,000 Instagram accounts were hijacked through its own AI help desk. The exploit was simple. Attackers used a VPN to mimic a victim's location and talked the AI into relinking the account to a new email. By bypassing the standard verification checks, the attackers triggered password resets and took full control of the accounts. Meta's explanation was that the tool worked properly and functioned as intended, but a bug in a separate code path had allowed the safeguard to be skipped. Granting an AI agent account-level power without forced secondary verification creates an inherent vulnerability. In this case, the system was so helpful, it helped attackers walk away with 20,000 entire user archives. These laws all assume that AI is actually capable of spotting a crisis as it happens. To test that, researchers at Emory University developed a benchmark called Cradle Dialogue, using transcripts annotated by licensed clinicians. At the dialogue level, models are accurate. They can tell a whole conversation contains risk, but they fail critically. They consistently miss the specific turn where the danger begins. They see the risk, but miss the exact moment it turns into a crisis. Current legislative mandates demand immediate interruption the moment risk emerges. But if the models miss that moment at the rates Emory measured, the laws are leaning on a technical capability that doesn't fully exist yet. As the gap between what these models can do and what the law requires becomes clearer, some states are choosing to halt the rollout of these products entirely. The New York legislature just passed a 5-year ban on selling AI chatbot toys aimed at children. California's Senate passed a similar 4-year moratorium with a vote of 39-0. These aren't requests for software updates. These are sales bans. The states are ordering these products off the shelves until interagency task forces can study the long-term effects. This marks a shift toward prohibition. 2 of the largest states in the U.S. have decided that the youngest users shouldn't be the test population for unproven conversational AI. While states are pulling back, The private sector is attempting a different path. Talkspace recently announced a new AI agent for mental health support named T. T is designed with 10 specific risk tripwires, like suicide or domestic abuse. The architecture of the product is built on the explicit assumption that the machine will eventually fail. When one of those tripwires is hit, the AI interaction stops and a licensed therapist steps in. Talkspace is charging $19.99 a month for this service, making the human handoff the defining feature of the product. This is what the mandated reporter standard looks like in the age of AI. A watcher that is measured, a threshold that is written down, and a human who answers. The machines now see more conversations in a single day than a clinician sees in an entire career, and the duty to report is finally catching up to them.